I've been experimenting for months, trying to find my putting stroke.
It's so crazy to me to think how diverse the putting stroke is from person to person. There's a few people who like to mimic McBeth, but besides that, when you go to the top level, people do it so many different ways. It's crazy.
I'm talking about my stroke. I can learn from others, but I need to find the movements that fit my body. I'm looking for that effortless, blissful, kind of time-expanding stroke. And I want to share with you the 7 things that I've been doing that are helping me get closer to finding my unique form. Number 1, toss it in the air.
I've been doing this now for a few months in my house. I'm just hanging out, and it's helped me find a wrist pop and then the feel for a clean release. And the idea came from Calvin Heimburg.
A lot of the power on my putt is generated from like a little finger pop / wrist action at the very end. If you just like hold a disc in your hand, even when you're sitting down on a couch, you can kind of just pop it up. Try to like pop the disc vertical while you're sitting down without using your arm. Just use your wrist, and then kind of practice. And the higher you can throw it, the more pop you're really going to be getting on the putter. But yeah, you can just do this and just slowly practice getting it higher, and you're just really trying to use your wrist, not really your arm.
So now that I've been doing it for a while, the disc is coming out more smoothly indoors as well as outdoors when I'm putting. But when I first started to get that feel, I was also struggling with distance beyond 25 feet and accuracy. Sometimes I'd be on, sometimes I'd be way off.
Number 2, bring your long distance putt inside the circle. These 2 videos were very helpful for my Circle 2 putt. The way Greg Barsby talked about putting kind of stuck with me.
I'm not just aiming at a target and throwing it blatantly, right? I'm thinking about how hard I need to put the putter in the air, kind of almost like a weight. Just kind of try to use the weight and pop it up and then let it fall where it should. I've noticed what works for me is I'll start it out low. I'll kind of like what I call bear down on the putt. I'll kind of bear down, get into the stance, and then just get my swing ready here. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of take my lower back and then just rise until I feel like, okay, I've found my spot. That's where I want to release it. That's where I want it to go.
So I gave his jump putt a try, and I actually made a couple of 50-footers shortly thereafter.
Oh, nice putt, dude.
And that really built up my confidence. And then I spent some time with Scott Stokely's ideas about step putting.
Rock back on your back leg as the disc is going down. It's going to go down to your forward leg because this forward leg is about to become your back leg. And then you're going to create forward momentum. This is your lie. But before this foot hits the ground, with that momentum, you're going to drive the putt forward. Remember, it's a push putt. You're not using the wrist or the elbow. You're just driving off that back leg. It's going to look like this.
And I started to play around with that. I was super inaccurate. So I moved in and started practicing my step putts from like 15 feet, 20 feet, 25 feet, trying to figure out like what feels good. I was starting to find some things that felt better, but I still was very inconsistent with my Circle 2 putts. Number 3, freestyle. Sometimes I just move fast, intuitively. I aim for the basket, but I don't really care if it goes in. I'm just trying to find a feeling. And I'm trying to find the movements that create the smoothest, the least amount of wobble, the biggest pop, you know, the like straight shots, the putts that hit the chains with absolute certainty. If I can find that feeling, maybe I can learn to repeat it. And if I'm hitting with that pow, that absolute certainty in the basket regularly, then I start to become a little dangerous. Number 4, bring insights from other sports you know well. I love bowling, almost as much as disc golf. Okay, maybe more. It depends on the day. I've been bowling since I was 5 years old, so that motion makes sense to me on a deep level. It's different from disc golf in 100,000 ways, but it's also pretty similar. It's an individual sport. You know, toss an object at a target. It's a swing sport. You're swinging your arm. It's a momentum sport. But in bowling, your arm is a pendulum and the ball is a weight. You set that ball in motion, move your feet toward the line, and then snap up to release the ball onto the lane with spin so it can drive into the pocket. Boom, hopefully you get a strike. And you always land and balance on your left foot. So I tried putting with my left foot forward. I don't know of any disc golfer that does that. I don't really care if it's right or wrong. I was just looking to see how it would feel. And believe it or not, I started to get into a flow. So that's the putt I'm using right now. It might change, but it's going great. Number 5, buy all the putters.
I have about 25 putters. They're all a little different. They're all used or unwanted. Who cares? My local disc shop here has a great selection of new discs. Sometimes a lot of used and unwanted discs come in. They have stamps from local events that people just don't think are cool or whatever, but they all fly pretty well. Having a ton of discs gives me some freedom to just mess around, freestyle, and it doesn't make my putters feel too precious.
Number 6, dial it in. When you're on the practice green, figure out what you're working on. Okay, this seems obvious, but I can't tell you how many times I'll be practicing putting for like 15 minutes before I realize I'm just chucking it at the basket, trying to make it, not thinking about what the hell I'm working on, maybe reflecting on my day, just not focused. Then I start to dial it in, and I focus on something specific, like my timing, where I'm pulling the disc to before I release, my follow-through point, stuff like that. Or maybe I'll focus on my breath. Then the world falls away, and it's just me and the basket and the rhythm of the disc. Number 7, rewind YouTube coverage. When you see a super clean putt, just hit that little left arrow twice on your keyboard and back it up 10 seconds. Watch it again and again and again and again, maybe 8 or 20 times until you start to understand something about what made this shot amazing that you just couldn't see in regular time. Don't just watch the pros, study them. That's all I got for you. Full disclosure, I am still an inconsistent putter. However, my putting is way better than at the beginning of the season, and sometimes now I feel like a pro when my disc hits the chains. Trust that you're improving if you're focusing with intention. See ya.